Hello everyone and welcome to Waffle Flower Crafts. It's Shannon here. In today's video, I'll be showing you how to create a circle slider card using some new products from Waffle Flower's spring release. First up is this new stamp set. It's called Toadally. It's a really adorable set illustrated by Camo. I love the trio of frogs there singing and the action, the movement from some of the other frogs. It's just a really fun set. Also using an older set here. This is Possum, an adorable doggy set. I'm just going to be using a present from that set and using the matching dies as well. Next up is the new Nesting Circles die set. This is called Nesting Circles Die 1. I'll be using a couple dies there to create the channel for my slider. And then I'll use one of my favorites, the A2 Nested Domes die set as well. So here's the card that I'll be showing you how to create today. As you can see, I used several images from that Toadally stamp set. Those trio frogs singing happy birthday, as well as some of the lily pads and flowers. And one of those frogs, one of the ones that looks like he's jumping, I have him jumping towards a present, which is from the Possum stamp set. And he's a slider, so he's inside that slider tack. And when you tilt your card around, he slides around inside that circle channel and he kind of spins and twirls, and I think it's just a really fun card for a kid to have a lot of fun playing with it. So I've already gone ahead and used the third die from the Nested Domes die set to die cut this arched dome, and now I'm going to do some ink blending with Distress Oxides, 3 of them over this panel. So I have the cracked pistachio first, then I'll move on to peacock feathers, and then finish up with salty ocean. Just doing some simple ink blending. I'm starting with my lightest color because I'm going to create basically an ombre look on this panel, starting with that cracked pistachio and then moving to the peacock feathers, overlapping a little bit onto the cracked pistachio, and then my last color, which is the salty ocean, and again overlapping a little bit of that peacock feathers. Now that I've done one layer, I'm going to go back over with all 3 colors and blend a little bit more, just trying to smooth that transition, especially where the 2 colors overlap, really blend those out. So now that I've got this panel all ink blended, I'm going to spritz a little bit of water on here using my Distress sprayer, and then I'll take a paper towel, place it on top, and just soak up that water so I get those beautiful water spots. Now that I've finished this arched panel, I'm now moving on to my card base. I've cut down an 8.5 by 11 sheet of green cardstock to 4.25 by 11 and then scored and folded it in half to make a card base. And now I'm going to do a little ink blending on the front with Lucky Clover, and I'm just going to do a soft gradation here. I just like this little bit of interest that it adds to the front of the card. Now moving on to die cutting the channel for the slider. I'm using 2 circles from the Nesting Circles die 1. This die set just came out in Waffle Flower's spring release. It's a really great useful die set. I'm going to die cut these 2 circles at the same time, and I'll just use a little bit of purple tape here to hold it in place and just eyeballing it, making sure that the gap between the circles is about the same. And then I will run this through my die cutting machine. Once it's die cut, I'll just quickly remove the purple tape here, and I'm going to save all 3 parts. So that cuts basically 2 circles, a frame, and then a smaller circle. I'm going to keep both those parts and use them to construct my slider. So now I've already stamped some images from the Toadally stamp set and that one present there from the Possum stamp set, and I'm going to go ahead and color these with my Copics. I've got the colors I used on screen here so you can follow along. I'll play a little bit of music and I'll meet you back when I'm just about done. Okay, so I'm almost done finishing up here the flower and the present, and I'll do the lily pad and the other flower later off camera since you've already seen me color those already. Once I finish coloring everything, I use the matching dies to die cut it out. So now I'm going to stamp my sentiment and a couple musical notes onto this arch panel. I'm going to use VersaFine Onyx Black ink. The notes and the sentiment are from the Toadally stamp set. I did actually snip the notes stamp. It's actually 4 notes in a line. I snipped some of the notes apart so I could kind of have the notes frame the window a little bit. Next, I'm going to take this ink blended card base, the green one that we did earlier, and I'm going to adhere it down to this 110-pound white card base. I'm doing this because that green cardstock is very lightweight. It's only 60, and I really want to have a nice sturdy card. The white card base is cut to the same dimensions as the green, except for once I folded it, I did trim down the ends about a little bit less than 1/8 of an inch, so like 1/16 of an inch. And then I just used a tape runner to adhere the green panel the green card base to the white card base. So now I'm going to start to construct the kind of the frame or the channel for my slider card, or my slider. I'm going to start by doubling up some foam tape. So you just saw me take the foam tape out and then fold it upon itself. So I've got 2 layers of foam tape now stuck together. I'm doing it again here just for a little bit more. I'm going to use this small amount here to go around the edge of the arched panel. I'm going to remove the back on half of this, or the back's one side of this doubled up foam tape, and place it right down here at the bottom of the panel. And then I'll take that small amount that I created and I will snip with my scissors thin strips. And again, these thin strips are what I'm going to put around the arch. So I can bend these a little bit more easily, and I definitely need to make them thin so I have enough room for my slider to slide around inside the channel. And the great thing about doubling up your foam tape this way is that you only essentially have to get one side of the backing off, and the other one comes off because it's just wrapped around. So it goes a little bit faster peeling the backing off of the foam tape. And now you can see I just worked my way around the arched part, and now I'm going to remove that last piece of foam tape there, and now I'll stick it right down onto my card base. Once I stuck this down, I'm going to move onto actually adhering some of the images. I'm going to adhere basically everything except for the jumping frog and the present. I'm going to adhere the flowers and the frogs right down onto the base of this panel. I'm just using some liquid adhesive here. This is Tombow Mono multi-liquid adhesive, and just going to stick everything down. Now that I have all these images stuck down, I'm going to move on back to my channel. I'm going to take that ring, or that frame, that circle frame that we cut, and just put some more liquid glue on the back side of it and stick it right in the inside of this circle window. And now I'm going to I almost put glue on there. I don't want to do glue. I have to do foam tape again. So I've got some more doubled up foam tape, and I'm just going to round the edges a little bit here just to make sure that the frog will move very freely or very cleanly when I get that all put together. But before I stick this down, I'm going to grab my dime. I'm using a dime instead of a penny. Normally when people make these cider cards, they'll use a penny, but the image is just a little bit too small for that penny, so a dime worked really well for this. So I stuck a dime in there, and now and then put that circle down, and now I'm cutting a little bit of acetate just a small little strip. This is just going to connect the present and the frog, so they always stay separate, so that poor frog will never actually get the present. And I just used again a little bit more of that liquid adhesive to hold the acetate to the back of the frog, then a little bit more of it on the end of the adhesive, or in the end of the acetate, so that the to adhere the present down to it. And now I'm going to take some more foam tape and I'm going to double it up. This time I'm just going to snip it in half and put two halves together. And then I will, so it's kind of square right now, so now I'm going to take my scissors and again round the edges a little bit more. This is going to help it so it kind of spins when it rolls around in the channel or moves around in the slides around in the channel. I also like that spinning action as well. If you don't like that spinning action, you kind of cut your doubled up foam tape to be more of like a rectangle shape. So I'm going to remove the backing on this now that I've stuck it down to the dime, and then just center the head of my frog right over that foam tape. And then this card is done. One last thing I like to do is just kind of bend that acetate so the present kind of pops up a little bit, and that'll also help so it moves a little bit more free. It doesn't get caught up as much. And you can see the really beautiful cute little images from that Toadally stamp set. I really like them down at the bottom. I imagine them singing happy birthday, and then that frog spinning and twirling, trying to catch that present. I just think it's such a fun card, a great interactive card, and a perfect card to give to a child for their birthday. I hope you guys enjoyed today's video. If you want any more information on the products I use, please visit waffleflower.com, and you can follow us on YouTube, Instagram, and Facebook. Thanks for watching and have a wonderful day.